So I just wanted to do a quick video to go over some of the performance art stuff that we've seen out of Taylor Swift recently. A lot of us have been talking about the way that she is simultaneously existing in a lot of different eras still. We have pointed out the fact that she is living through certain events at midnight, she is living through certain events in TTPD. Also, a lot of us have been connecting back to Midnights. For some reason I keep saying Midnights, but I actually mean the Reputation prologue. We're going to discuss the Reputation prologue because I think a lot of things she's doing are pointing back to that in specific. So this is the Reputation prologue. Here's something I've learned about people. We think we know someone, but the truth is that we only know the version of them they have chosen to show us. We know our friend in a certain light, but we don't know them the way their lover does. Just the way their lover will never know them the same way you do as their friend. Their mother knows them differently than their roommate, who knows them differently than their colleague. Their secret admirer looks at them and sees an elaborate sunset of brilliant color and dimension and spirit and pricelessness, and yet a stranger will pass that person and see a faceless member of the crowd, nothing more. We may hear rumors about a person and believe those things to be true. We may one day meet that person and feel foolish for believing baseless gossip. This is the first generation that will be able to look back on their entire life story documented in pictures on the internet, and together we will all discover the after effects of that. Ultimately, we post photos online to curate what strangers think of us, but then we wake up, look in the mirror at our faces, and see the cracks and scars and blemishes and cringe. We hope someday we'll meet someone who will see that same morning face and instead see their future, their partner, their forever. Someone who will still choose us even when they see all of the sides of the story, all of the angles of the kaleidoscope that is you. The point being, despite our need to simplify and generalize absolutely everyone and everything in this life, humans are intrinsically impossible to simplify. We are never just good or just bad. We are mosaics of our worst selves and our best selves, our deepest secrets and our favorite stories to tell at a dinner party, existing somewhere between our well-lit profile photo and our driver's license shot. We are all a mixture of our selfishness and generosity, loyalty and self-preservation, pragmatism and impulsiveness. I've been in the public eye since I was 15 years old. On the beautiful, lovely side of that, I've been so lucky to make music for a living and look out into the crowds of loving, vibrant people. On the other side of the coin, my mistakes have been used against me, my heartbreaks have been used as entertainment, and my songwriting has been trivialized as oversharing. When this album comes out, gossip blogs will scour the lyrics for the men that they can attribute to each song, as if the inspiration for music is as simple and basic as a paternity test. There will be slideshows of photos backing up each incorrect theory because it's 2017 and if you didn't see a picture of it, it couldn't have happened, right? Let me say it again, louder for those in the back. We think we know someone, but the truth is that we only know the version of them that they have chosen to show us. There will be no further explanation, there will just be reputation. There is a tendency that Taylor has had since the Reputation era for sure, but very noticeably starting around the beginning of the Midnights era, where Taylor will just allow a piece of information of herself to come out, allow the media and the fans and various different groups to decide what it means, what it signifies, like all of the whats and whys about it. And then if the narrative isn't going necessarily the direction that she's intending for it to go, another piece of information will come out, like the ring that Taylor was given at one of her birthday parties that the media and the fans were very quick to attribute to Travis, and then a couple days later we've come to find out that it was Kelly Teller that gave her that. Like whether or not she was at the game this past Sunday, because there was a solid period of time on the internet of like over an hour where if you were looking at the news reports about Taylor Swift, you had some reports that were saying that she was at the game, you had some reports saying that she had skipped the games, you had some reports saying not that also that they knew why that she skipped the games. Some of these reports that were saying that, you know, she wasn't at the game had a note inside that then said, oh, correction, turns out she might have been at the game. But we do not, at time of me filming this, definitively know that Taylor was there. That is a big point of what is going on right now. This idea that a lot of what happens with Taylor Swift is communicated to us via a media who is just as gasping at straws and speculating as many of the fans are. One of the other things that I brought up a lot recently is the fact that Taylor very much uses the attention economy. She knows how to keep people's attention. For this entire rollout for this album, she has not used conventional media or the conventional press or the usual ways you market an album, and yet still, not only has she sold like more like record-breaking numbers of copies of this album, but she is also keeping people's attention for extended periods of time. And it goes back to this like Dita von Teese inspired like art of the tease, enticing people, titillating people with this perspective that they might catch a glimpse of Taylor Taylor. And so people tune into a football game they don't care about. People spend a lot of time online looking at the, doom scrolling through Twitter, seeing whether or not we have a photo of Taylor Swift at the game yet. Meanwhile, the media is simultaneously saying that she's there and she's not there, and depending on who you ask, you're going to get any number of examples of answers on whether or not she was there. If she wasn't there, the reason why. If she did go, what that barrier was for. Was it because of some threat against her life that she sent her mother and her brother into, like, visibly? Or was it just because of privacy? Or was it just to keep people talking? She doesn't even need to be seen someplace to keep people talking. People can infer that she is there, and we will think that she is there. And this is simultaneously not just about the media and the way the media weaves stories with very little concern about whether or not the stories they're weaving are true or false, or if they're getting people into trouble or not. Another thing that has been a prominent theme of Taylor's career is people stalking her, and obviously the media making a big deal out of what she's doing, where she's at all given times, is a part of contributing to that. But also, because of everything that happened during Reputation, because of the way the media turned against Taylor, and because of the way Taylor had seen that consistently she could fix every single flaw that they had pointed out, she could reinvent herself. Reinvent herself is a version of herself that didn't have the flaws that the media and the fans were previously complaining about, and they would still find reasons to complain about her, find reasons to smear her. If they didn't have something positive to say about her, they still want to have an article, they still want to have a headline, they still want to get clicks. So many of these media outlets want to have an article about Taylor Swift every week, if not every day. Many of them are not particularly concerned with whether it's true or not. Every other day recently, it's been a headline about how they're going to get married super fast, or a headline about how they're not going to get married for a while. All of these outlets are presenting it as though they have some anonymous source that is worth a dang. And it's fascinating to see how Taylor is telling so much of her story, and also, like I've been stressing on this channel a lot, instructing so much in media literacy via making the artifice of it so much more obvious, via having all of these big announcements of both her business things and Travis's business things alongside their engagement announcement. Engagement has multiple meanings, and if there is something that I've said a lot, Taylor loves a homophone, she loves a homograph, she loves words that sound the same and have different meanings. She loves words that are spelled the same and have different meanings. Engagement, not just the ring on her finger, the engagement that she is bringing on by having a fan dance, having people constantly looking for little glimpses of her, by hiding herself away from the world, such that people will just spend hours watching these countdowns, trying to participate in these countdowns. And so many businesses, so many companies, so many apps, so many products are trying to keep our attention. Attention is the new dominant economy. Not only is Taylor not using a lot of these conventional media sources and still selling out her album, she's barely putting any effort into matters at all, and she's getting engagement out the wazoo that companies are going to be aware of. Companies can pay attention to how much time you spend on TaylorSwift.com, New Heights podcast, looking up articles about Taylor and Travis. Taylor is flexing on a huge level the way that she dominates both the conventional economy and the attention economy without necessarily needing any specific thing that you would previously be told you needed to succeed in the industry. My prediction that at least until this album comes out, we are going to see little hints, glimpses, maybe hints that something is going on, that Taylor will be someplace and everyone will look over there and the illusionist will work someplace else. All eyes on her, our illusionist. Also, going back to the Reputation prologue is just the mirror ball of it all. Taylor showing back everything that fans want to see of her, putting on this act to make it so as many people as possible see themselves in her, and nowadays she is turning the mirror ball back on them. She is showing them not the best parts of themselves, but the worst parts of themselves. The parts of themselves that get entitled even when all Taylor is promising is a little glimpse. With the most recent countdown that was just to that little GIF, like, it was very clearly like just a behind the scenes peek. And again, it goes back to the fan dance of it all. Having what looked to be her family members and her security guard go with a partition into the game such that everyone is looking for little glimpses of her, looking at the reflection on the ceilings, looking between the gaps in the panels that wouldn't be there if it was there for security protections, and we wouldn't have seen Mom if they were there for security protections. They could have shaped it into a box. If they wanted to keep them secure, this is security theater, it is not actual security. As soon as you're aware of the difference between the two, it becomes a lot more obvious when something is security versus when it's just security theater. That was security theater, and I don't even know if she was there, but it's not the point. The point is we're all talking about it whether she isn't there or not. It's going to be freaking hysterical if people discuss this for days and then it turns out that Austin and Andrea were the only people at the game, or what have you. Taylor has been trying to communicate this message about the media and paying attention to the media ever since this Reputation prologue, but unfortunately, very frequently, her fans really get it wrong. Like the 1989 Taylor's version prologue was directed at the media, but because there was a line that could be twisted against Gaylors, instead of going against the organization, the industry that was actually harming Taylor in a severe manner, they went after one of the most marginalized fan groups that Taylor possesses. Because that makes sense. That actually did something to solve Taylor's problem that I'm sure she was happy about. No. Taylor has consistently complained about the way the media has constantly twisted the narrative, made it seem like she was dating people that she wasn't seeing, making it seem like she was places that she wasn't at, making up all of these stories. And she kept trying to tell people that, up to and including the Reputation prologue. But people were not listening. People weren't paying attention to it. People clearly also didn't pay attention to the part of the Reputation prologue where she said people are going to try and paternity test this album, trying to pin it on different men, but they're going to be wrong. The only possible instance in which that is true is if these songs are not about men, or are only kind of teeny tiny a little bit about men, and the predominant overarching theme is about a woman or women or Taylor herself or aspects of Taylor's personality. Everything that Taylor is doing right now is making all of the things, all of these lessons that she's been trying to teach us for so many years, all the more apparent. And she has been communicating this lesson plan to us ever since Midnights. Midnights, in a lot of ways, is a guidebook of what is to come. It is a map. It is a path that she is following. It is an attempt to get people to divorce themselves from the overarching media narrative and just look where Taylor has said to look, at the art that she has created, specifically the lyrics, which she has said are the #1 thing that she wants people to focus on, and then also the other artistic things that she does, her Easter eggs, her music videos, the behind the scenes that she releases for it. Everything that we have seen from Taylor ever since Reputation era is part of a narrative, part of a story, since we are not seeing her except when she wants us to see her. And when we do see her, there is an outfit that is carefully curated to be part of the theming or the messaging or whatever it is that she's trying to forecast. More than anything right now, Taylor is flexing her ability to plan, her ability to just succeed on a level and lead too, because obviously there is a big team around this. There's a big team around planning out what the ideal pieces for each outfit are, planning like all of the time the numerology of it all, because I don't get into that stuff here because numbers are not for my type of brain, but there is just an improbable number of coincidences in the numbers such that, and Taylor has admitted a number of times that numbers and numerology are more important to her than most people realize. Taylor's whole life has been as a showgirl, and now we're seeing like more and more hints of behind the scenes, behind the surface, all of the artifice, the facades, the things that are just made up for image and to make people more money and to get people's time. And now is a time when so many people need this instruction so desperately. There's so much going on right now. I'm really trying to get this out pretty quick though, so I'm going to keep this kind of focused on the topics that I've discussed at hand. There are any number of things that I want to discuss in regards to engagement in both senses and the performance that Taylor is putting on, the different personas, especially her Wagler persona. I do have a video coming out that is about how pop star personas and drag personas are very similar, so that's coming out fairly soon. I have a couple of other things that are coming out first. Every time she does something, I have to shuffle my schedule, but all of those things are filmed and are in states of editing. They will come out, they just have not come out yet. The way she uses the media, the way she uses the fandom to send specific messages, like there's so many things at work here, at play here, that are being done in a masterful way. And then also the narrative that is Tavis and all of the performance art that is within that, which I had intended to go into that a little bit for this video, but I think it's more important that you all understand the way that she is using the media as a narrative tool, so you can kind of further understand other things that'll be coming up. Anyhow, I have been AerinMoriarty. I do a lot of discussion about performance, art, Taylor Swift, pop culture, pop media, how it's influencing us, what I think artists are doing. There's so much going on right now. There are so many artists that are doing very fascinating things. I wish I could cover even a fraction of it, so I mostly try and keep into the Taylor Swift wheelhouse, but obviously Lady Gaga, Beyonce, and My Chemical Romance are the three big ones that come to mind, like right now is doing a lot of really interesting stuff. I am so excited to see what comes next from all of these artists. I'm so excited to see this album, the fan reaction to this album. I think that there's going to be multiple different layers for multiple different levels of fans to approach it from. I'm very curious to see if it's actually going to be what we think it is, because we know that there have been a lot of lies happening recently. She sits upon a throne of lies. All of the listings to purchase the album say that final details may vary. A lot of us have been bringing back to this concept of the Schrodinger's box of it all. I would be very fascinated if there were multiple different versions of the album and that you didn't find out until you had opened up the album, like destroyed the packaging such that you couldn't resell it as an unsealed thing anymore. I'm very curious to see what the actual album that we get looks like. And it's coming so much quicker than I expected. I thought I was going to have so much time to discuss everything in the lead up to this album, but it's happening so fast. So one thing that I like to try and do is like leave references to things, screenshots to clips of articles and things of that nature. I am not going to be doing that as much for the next couple of videos, especially if it's something that I have documented in another video on my channel, just because I really need to just get these thoughts out into the world so people can process them, so people can see what's happening while it's happening, because it is so fascinating being aware of all of the things that she is doing and like seeing all of these things that are happening. It's just, it's so wonderful. Anyhow, if you watched this far, you must like something, so you may as well like, comment, and subscribe, because it really does help me out a lot as a small channel. Thank you so very much for your support, and have a wonderful day.